12:35, 28th of September. Calling this lawyer.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Densler. This is Aaron Fanning calling.
Yes. Who is this?
This is Aaron Fanning, sir.
Okay. How can I help you?
Well, I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this case. You know, being at the clerk's office, like I said, I have video documenting the clerk defrauded the registry, saying that I didn't appear at the last hearing. Apparently, I have the video that, you know, where Mr. McCoy was trying to extort me from my supportive services and housing. I have the video documentation where LAPD says there is no restraining order on file for me to have ever been breaching. I document both internal affairs agencies having started investigations in early November of last year. Sir, I'm not trying, like all of these counts that I have is every time that I dare to engage with law enforcement because I'm reporting stuff like drug use or me getting assaulted at the property. I got to count for literally, like, it's obscene. I have open public health complaints, HCIDLA and LADBS. I have documentation that in July and August of last year, the housing authority assured me that they were going to help me to get moved from that facility because I didn't feel safe. My landlord, which is one of the two parties that supposedly their contractor got protective orders. Yeah, that October 28th was them trying to prevent me from allowing inspection of my home with the health department. And they had actually failed to meet the orders to comply with getting my unit habitable and other issues at the property. So this has been super retaliatory. I have documentation in July of last year from the hospital, medical records. They tried to put me on a hold because they were trying to conceal an attack. And that was when I returned from HACLA. HACLA had told me that they were shocked that I was in that unit and I needed to be moved because the contracts that I had been voided out a week before I had been presented them. And they didn't know how I was in the unit. And so I asked my supportive services to have me moved. By the time I returned to the apartment, I got attacked. I tried to report it, and I tried to ask for help reporting it. Instead, they tried to put me on a hold. The hospital rejects it. And of the medical records, they released me under the understanding and knowing that I wasn't safe at that building and that Venice Community Housing advised them that they were going to have the housing authority abdicated and I would be moved. Housing authority themselves said that they were going to have this resolved for me in July and the beginning of August of last year. Then I start catching charges. And nobody I'm supposed to be in a program where I shouldn't be, literally, here's how bad it is. If I was doing any of what they were alleging that I was doing, I should have been removed and had my vouchers rescinded from me so that I wouldn't be able to get into this position. I'm supposed to be in programs for streets and institutions. The issue is, see, Carol Sobo is one of my landladies. The last tenant in my unit died in a fire. They never got permits to rebuild it. And of record with HCIDLA for 3 years prior, it had been known as an illegal unit before it killed the last tenant. I have it cited because, you know, that's the least I could do because in September I got attacked by the same tenant again and I lost my bathroom door barricading myself inside. I have video, like the original videos that went on YouTube were actually for LAPD because the dude across the street assaulted me on video and then he ended up pulling a gun on me. I have the housing authority acknowledging they have video of that. I have video July 15th of last year, the guy across the street, the guy who Officer Frank Shin still is hiding, an assault with deadly weapons knife case that was taken out, and the guy that attacked me twice successfully. Oh, I have all three of them in a video together, but I have Bruno telling the guy to call him when he beats my ass so he can watch. I've been in a terrifying situation, sir. That's the reason, like, my family removed me. The amount of videos is insane. I didn't do anything. I'm like, out of all of this, look, I've been in streets and institutions for almost 11 years because I don't have strong family support. But last thing I think that's appropriate is people like invading residential space and stuff because I would never want that subjected on me. I lived in industrial areas because I thought it was more appropriate and I wasn't burdening people and their children. And I had to do what I had to do. I don't do any drugs. I was proactively trying to get therapy. And what happened is I got assaulted trying to not defend, but like protect a cashier at a dollar store on Crenshaw and Rosecrans. Came running in the store with a gangster behind him, and I managed to shut the cashier's booth behind him, and I took a face stomping. So I had to go through facial reconstruction. Gardena told me that I needed to move or that I was likely going to get assaulted again. And so suddenly, that's the only reason I even came up to the west side. And like, I literally, like, I thought I was, look, when I don't do drugs, and I don't want to be associated with that I refused any pain medication while my jaw was in 5 pieces. They wired it shut with no Novocaine because I have communication issues, but I was so adamant that I don't want drugs. I was super grateful for that whole experience because that was the first time in my life that I felt like I could ask for help and someone tried to help me with what was my concern. And so it opened me up to trying to ask for some more help. And I didn't want housing because I don't think it's appropriate. I think other people deserve that. I don't want to be a burden on society, sir. I was sold that I was going to be in a supportive environment to help me to rescale back into rent and be a contributing member of society. But that's not what they really want. And like the thing is St. Joseph's in city of Santa Monica, they had me in a hotel for 4 months. And that's the first thing where things went bad. Like they caused my trauma claim on my mouth to lapse. Like I ended up on my own getting Harbor UCLA to help me out with that. But then they cited me. I had the public health department fine me because I'd been there for 4 months. 3-inch open sewer line. I look like E.T. from the abscess. And I'm getting facial reconstruction. 3-inch open sewer line. No heater. 89-degree hot water in January. And I was getting facial reconstruction. And like, so, and instead of them addressing it, St. Joseph's and the public health department decided to try to lock me out the hotel. So I filed for an illegal eviction with the city of Santa Monica, and I document the city of Santa Monica are the ones that put me in this apartment. Suddenly they just tell me I have an apartment. I never applied for nothing. And everybody kept asking me what I know about code enforcement and stuff. And the reason I know all of that is I build monuments and I do stuff for like state jobs and stuff. And so I know stuff about code that's different. And one of the things they were trying to suggest, they were trying to put me in one of those tents. I go, that's not to state regulation. That's not cool. And then like it comes out to they're burning a whole bunch of money with a lot of what's going on. Venice is so messed up because literally the contracts that I have with St. Joseph's and Venice Community Housing, even though they're not good, it clearly shows because it's the same people own both agencies and they're not supposed to. They're straight embezzling the program funding, and they're spending it on land buys. That's why I'm alone for a year. Somehow I'm a criminal and that I'm a threat to the community. How come they're still getting funding? They got $34 million in funding since all of these charges have been coming against me because there's no problems at their properties. Sir, since I've been up here, I've been trying to get like adult protective services involved for myself and other tenants. Right now, currently, they have another tenant that's hidden in private facility that they're tormenting. He's been a client for 20 years. I try to get adult protective services in March for him. And they're tormenting him about if they're going to return his apartment or not. And he's accused of trying to commit suicide. This is not safe, sir.
Okay. Were you ever served?
Never.
Protective order?
Never. And that's the thing. The thing is they gave me protective order in court. The thing is, though, sir, is that this case didn't originate from protective orders. This originated from stay-away orders. So somehow, someone tried to issue stay-away orders from me from my own home, right after the housing authority assured me that they were going to handle this. Housing authority, and even like
hold on, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Yeah, protective order is the same as a stay-away order. It's the same thing.
No.
Stay away from a person or a location. So the person that submitted this protective order, he is your neighbor.
Sir.
Yeah?
Sir, it was no. What I'm trying to say is I've been getting told this is a restraining order.
The restraining order is the same thing.
No. This is a civil order. This did not come out through a criminal hearing. So this is a civil order. Now, again, regardless of that, the civil order, I was never served for any civil action. And again, I'm in housing. I'm in programs. So it's not exactly possible that somehow I get served when everybody knows that I'm in programs and program management. Two of the other party that got claims that he's involved with this now, Mr. Donald Reith, he claims that he's an employee of Venice Community Housing. So again, I'm disabled, sir. I'm in full services. So even if there's a stay away order, how am I getting charged for dealing with officers at my own home when he's not involved? Now I have video of LAPD furious at that man across the street because I was dealing with LAPD about my own affairs, have nothing to do with him. And he comes out demanding that I'm arrested on the spot. I asked officers to cuff me up because I was so tired of this, like that I can't report. And the officers were like, nah, and the dude came out super aggressive. It's videoed, it's documented, I have the incident report number. They ran it. I have no restraining orders on file to be violating. So it's not even a local jurisdiction officer that's been doing this. That's a LAWA officer who I've had internal affairs investigations going on since November 4th of last year.
Okay, here. What are you going to be at the next court date?
My legal proxy will. Because I know this is not acceptable that my life is at threat, that it did not go down of record, that how come McCoy tried to defraud the courts and say that I didn't appear? I have video of that hearing, of my dealings with the clerk, assuring me that I just was at that hearing and I was compliant. And that I was going to have the opportunity to speak with the judge because I didn't have representation for that long, sir. Again.
Okay. Who is your legal proxy? Who's appearing on your behalf?
You met her.
I'm going to be there, but I need you there to go over all the documentation.
No, sir, you told me we could go over the documentation on a Zoom call. I'm not going to be put in a position where I'm at threat anymore. I have internal affairs officers from LAWA.
Hold on, let me talk. The only reason that I need to go over all of this information is because you have a lot of allegations that are not in the documentation that I have.
I know.
And we need to go over everything.
So I would love to start sending you some documentation because there's the two closed out. There's the video of the dude assaulting me and the case for it, and this brandishing case that they tried to hide, that they closed out after I start the internal affairs complaint in November. I can also document for you the internal affairs supervisor for LAWA. Oh, she documents that there's that little thing in my court case where the clerk started doing some actions in late November. That's when they started engaging with me because they knew that their officer was impersonating LAPD and threatening my life. Like, I don't know what to say about that. Neither agencies will give me the CF number, but I document them acknowledging that there's the investigation's ongoing and in. It's bad, sir. So I'm in a lot of threat, and I'm not going to put myself...
You realize that eventually you will have to come to court.
You do realize that I have LAPD on video telling me, command, that I need to leave the state because something is extremely wrong. So I have no problem going to the court once the court knows what's going on. Once the court knows that the clerk has been doing some things that shouldn't be doing, sir. Like, again...
No, there's no bench warrant out for you at this time.
I understand that, but guess what? I have again, the clerk defrauded registry in July. McCoy had no business being in court in July misrepresenting himself as my lawyer. What did he conflict out for at this last hearing? He should have been conflicted out in February, as we knew. He knew what was up. I literally document, here's how bad it is. I document LA Bar sending me a fraudulent closure letter about McCoy when I contact the state and recognize that the investigation was still open. This is because Carol Sobel, my landlady, and her position with the bar, having merged LA Bar and Long Beach Bar, and her position with the National Lawyers Guild. This is why her garbage draftings pass in court, because she auto-conflicts out any defenders. Simple. It's not that difficult to figure out. So I literally document Mike Bonin in December, assuring me that there's no way that any LAWA officer is abdicating any cases regarding me, which is what's ongoing because Mike Bonin is trying to extort me. Now, they killed Corey Schmidt in custody. I'm not Corey Schmidt, and I'm not going down like that. And it's not acceptable that LAWA went and obstacled and blocked out me getting assaulted by an LA CAN network, an employee of my landlord. That's so gnarly. That's the only reason I didn't make it to court, because he bit me. So I had to self-quarantine. Like, my life is a serious risk. And it's not really even understandable how's the housing authority not know that's going on, because, well, I shouldn't be there and they would have relocated me already and I wouldn't have been in position. That's why I'm in these programs. And actually, my programs are supposed to provide me a lawyer. Did you know that? So I don't know why public defender tried to conflict out on me and then bypass the alternative, but I don't even know how you're involved because, well, my programs that McCoy was trying to demand that I abandon afford me private counsel through the care funding.
Do you want the programs that you are in to provide you counsel?
Absolutely.
Is that what you want?
Well, I mean, yeah, because
then how can you do that? I'm in now because I'm in conflict with McCoy, and the county bar called me in because the public defender conflict, the APD conflict.
No, APD did not conflict. APD, as I just verified it with them again. They never saw it. They didn't conflict. And so, again, I'm not trying to, look, this is important. Again, it's really, here's the bummer for me. You're awesome and even being responsive, but the bummer for me is that look at the position that I'm put in, that we're put into. Like, it's so not unfair. It's so not fair.
I got to tell you, the public, before, I'm letting you know how the conflict system works. You can disagree with me, but when the public defender makes a conflict, the next person they go to is to the APD, the alternate public defender's
You're right.
office in setting.
But unfortunately, of record, that didn't happen with my case.
Okay, so do you want to go to the APD, alternate public defender?
I would love to, sir, and that's not a personal thing with you. And literally, I would let me just take. No, I really want. I do want to be accountable by that. And what I mean by that is, sir, is that I don't. It has nothing to do with you. And literally, you've done me a tremendous service of even hearing me out and even trying to afford me that opportunity. My concern is that I just wanted things to have gone. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I feel like I'm disadvantaged, and so are you. In even trying to afford me counsel right now, because things are so far gone in such a bizarre way that, like, yeah, why wasn't my reason of being concerned that an alternative wasn't presented is because I was concerned they were trying to put me into custody and that I wouldn't be able to ever contact my counsel again. And that's what I'm really honestly most scared for.
Hold on. Do you want another attorney?
No, it's not about, it's, I would like to be in sir, it's not a matter of me not wanting you to represent me personally. My concern is I don't understand. Okay, well, okay, aside from that, so that we're clear on that and it's not an attack at you at all. And I just want to be clear about that.
Yeah, I don't take anything personal.
Okay, well, I'm just
over 20 years. I have no problem with it.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to be respectful about it. You know what I mean, and appreciative, and I'm trying to be cognizant about that.
So I'll let the court know when I go next time that you would like another attorney. But you said you would like. Now, what happens is this. This is typically what happens. If I say you would like another attorney, I would submit the case to the County Bar Association. They will send another ICD attorney to represent you.
Okay,
now,
so that's not what I'm trying to do.
Private attorney.
No,
what do you want to.
Can I explain? Because I apologize. I've wasted time I was trying to be really respectful about the situation, and I wanted to make sure that, and so I apologize. I would like to understand why the alternative public defender's office didn't step in, because they were bypassed. Okay.
All right. Well, so I'll go to court. But hold on. We'll the conversation back and forth. So I'll let you know what I'll do.
And then next time
I go to court, I will let them know that you've been it's your position that the alternate public defender's office never conflicted out, and you would like the alternate public defender's office to represent you.
Awesome.
Is that true or false?
Yes, sir. My only other secondary condition on that is I would like the court to be aware that my care program and housing authority and my programs are supposed to be providing me private counsel.
Okay, then, well, that's, first and foremost, that's not up to the court. You have to contact whoever you're contacting with and tell them you need private counsel.
Right, and so that's what I'm trying to say is that's where the conflict happens, end up being, is that my landlord, okay, is the ones that are like, so that's where I have the issue. Like, how am I supposed to, like, I have the housing authority saying that they were going to handle this starting in July of last year. The housing authority is not aware of any issues at my property.
Well, then,
they're denying my.
I'm just trying to help you.
For sure.
I'm going to help you. The court is not going to contact the housing authority. If the housing authority says you are supposed to have a private attorney, whoever the housing authority is,
my contract
you have to contact him. Do you have a number for him or a person say, I have this case? It's at airport court.
Can I try and so that Donald Reith guy? Yeah, he's a contractor for the same people. Kind of a conflict. That's why they're not supposed to be my landlord and my programs provider, but that's the issue, and that's why they're trying to come at me the way they're coming at me, because they're defrauding all the money, and that's why you see all this craziness in the street, because we have no workers.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to court. When I'm going to go to court in your case, I will inform the court that you want the alternate public defender's office to represent you.
At least consider it, please.
Okay, no, I will do it.
No, I'm saying I don't want to demand something. I can't demand something. I would like them to consider that opportunity for me.
Right, that's an opportunity that should have been addressed.
Right.
Meaning, once the public defender's office declares a conflict, the alternate public defender's office is supposed to see if they have a conflict. If
right.
They do not
Somehow
have a conflict,
McCoy got hired before my arraignment. Somebody contacted my estranged family members, and they showed them courtside records 6 days before my arraignment and tried to demand that I contact the public defender's office and get my lawyer straight. And I was trying to explain to them, I was like, listen, I would love to do that, but that's not how this works. I will show up at court, and at my arraignment, I'll find out what my charges are, and at that point, I get to discuss with the judge if I qualify, and then I can get a public defender. Somehow, McCoy was already engaged with my estranged family by way of another person. It's really bad. Like, I document that.
Okay, what if the court public
I mean, then that's fine. I think that you've done a tremendous job of proving to me that you're respectful and communicative. I don't have a problem with working with you, sir, but I'm extremely terrified of physically being around there. I haven't been home in over a month. I can't return to my house. I literally don't go to my house because No, so literally what I'm scared of is I've been attacked repeatedly on that property. I've been assaulted repeatedly on that property. Okay, and then like every time I try to report, I'm getting charges. And then yes, the guy across the street from me has threatened me, he's attacked me repeatedly. And so what ended up happening, it's just, so as my mom, who you met, knows, and has seen, the dude across the street has been very much maliciously trying to abuse this situation. I have no intentions on him. And like, I'm in a dangerous position because I have no supportive services. They're allowing, literally, I got assaulted in the beginning of July by one of the staff members for my landlord. And I can't get safe or get moved. I know that literally I'm not down at my home because LAPD on video, command, are trying to figure out what this case is because they know I don't have a restraining order. They know I'm trying to be compliant. They know that I'm proactively wanting to return to society and be a good person. Like I want to, and I wanted the help getting there. And like, they told me that I need to get across state lines, so that I can't be extradited because cops are fucking with me. I have both internal affairs agencies since November acknowledging that Frank Shin, who has been defrauding himself to me as an LAPD detective and still never identified what agency he really works for, has been threatening to put me away for the rest of my life. Then I had McCoy. McCoy literally was demanding that I abandon my home or he wasn't going to provide me a defense. He asked me in February if I left, and I told him my truck wasn't there, and he was like, okay, good. And he didn't tell the judge. And he told me that he wanted me to move so that he could tell the judge there's no possible way that I'm violating. And he didn't tell the judge. And like, I don't know what to do, man. I didn't even want to be there. I hadn't wanted to be there since July of last year after the first time I got attacked. But instead I got attacked by the same other tenant repeatedly, like to the point where I don't have a bathroom door. The dude popped my front door, trashed in my apartment, attacks me in my bedroom. I barricade myself in my bathroom. Cops finally show up with the landlord. Landlord refuses to identify him, claiming HIPAA. And meanwhile, it's just all bad. I'm not safe there. Like, I just wanted to get moved. I'm physically not safe. I would have left long ago. The only reason I stayed, sir, was because I wanted to be accountable because of what this Mr. Shin was threatening me with. I wanted to make sure that I didn't run and end up with warrants. And I wanted to try and address things. And that's why I've been dealing with internal affairs. You know what I mean? Oh, I still have possession of it because I can't leave it. I'm not staying there, but I can't abandon it. If I abandon it, sir, I do not qualify for services for years. I need these services. And so, yeah, physically, I can't stay at my own home. They're still trying to evict me. They're still trying to go through eviction hearings. The next hearings in like another week still. But yeah, they didn't try and go through the housing authority. They went through a normal UD on me. It's just like, I'm in a bad position, man. I just want to be safe. It's not that I don't want... literally, I would have left in July of last year, and I can document that, sir. I was just trying to make sure that I didn't get... I wanted to address whatever was there and trying to proactively address it with even like LAPD. And that's why LAPD thought I was nuts, because there wasn't any case. Meanwhile, I have someone tell me he's LAPD threatening me. Like, I have video of the intakes with internal affairs. They acknowledge it. I mean, like, I physically don't... I know that I'm not safe to be at my own home. That's why I haven't been back there for a month. Do I want to return there? I super appreciate that, sir. I'm sorry, sir. I'm really sorry that this is so difficult of a situation. Like, I really wish I had... Man, they keep trying to say I'm a racist and shit, and like... And all I've done, and one of the things that I've done in these last months while they're so pissed at me, is they're trying to steal the First Baptist Church of Venice. They're trying to do a land theft through adverse possession. And see, I know code enforcement, and I straight caught them. They told the whole congregation, Bonin, in his office and publicly, he's trying to say that this other media billionaire bought it for $15 million. And they got the whole congregation out of there and dispossessed the black congregation of the oldest church in Venice. You know what I mean? There's a place that I'm white, but I used to get molested and abused as a kid, and I'm from the Palisades. That's why I love the Venice, though, is when I was in trouble or I was scared, I could go to Venice and people would kind of get me my bootstraps back, and I could go back home. And I managed to prove that there's never been a land sale. That they're trying to take it through adverse possession across the, you know what I mean, using 6866 Westminster. And it was built by Paul Revere Williams, one of the most important architects, and a brilliant black man, and he was smart enough, he knew what was going on. In 67, when they did it, they skunked the title. The owners of that church is First Baptist Church of Venice, not an Inc., not a DBA. And the address of record is the attached original parking lot. And so they made sure that you could never sell it. And so they just done stole that from everybody. They're just hurting people, man. They're just doing lamp theft and just causing blight to fuck everything up, man. It's just dangerous. They're mad at me because my concern was with the community and I'm not greedy. I don't want anything free. I wanted an opportunity for some support to prove that I deserve that support and to earn it and to get my place back. But that's not who they're trying to house. And it's terrifying to watch what they're doing to the communities, man. It's terrifying. I have LADBS acknowledging, because they acknowledge I caught them doing that one. And that's literally Mike Bonin's been trying to say that they tried to start this whole race baiting thing right during the flight. And trust me, I believe rightly. There's right injustices, man. But like I was telling my auntie and my granny in Oakwood, I was like, fuck, everybody knows we're pissed. We need to start explaining stuff. And for me, the biggest thing that I've had the most shame in this last year, learning, being around my auntie, she said something to me one day and I just about had a heart attack. I never had the reality. People, it's such a difficult conversation and we get so little information. But everybody talks about 400 years and that's really hard to digest, especially for someone like myself. I'm autistic. I understand there's issues, but I don't understand. But finding out that she didn't know she was going to be able to vote in her lifetime. Fuck. And how dare they steal that church from these people? So it's dangerous, man. I apologize and I appreciate any help you can give me, but they're trying to hurt me bad. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, and I honestly respect you hearing me out and trying to hear me out, man. No, I respect it, though. I appreciate it, and I do respect your time, sir. So, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.